And he might get the opportunity to provide something exciting because Roy Jones, the opponent, Juan Jose Martinez, is one of those volume punchers who wants to throw upwards of 80, sometimes 100+ punches per round, and that, we assume, will leave considerable counterpunching opportunities for the counterpuncher Verdejo.
Yeah, it will, Jim, but he said he's not going to do that this fight. And to give you an example, he's not coming out wailing away right away. He's trying to feel out and see what Verdejo has, and I think Verdejo already hurt him with a jab. So this could be a great night for Verdejo.
And we remind you that our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman, after all these years, is being inducted tomorrow into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in Canastota, New York. So he's not with us tonight. He's up there celebrating with his family and friends, and we're joined at ringside by Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission Executive Director Greg Serb, who will be scoring the fights unofficially for us tonight in Harold's place.
When you think of the population of Puerto Rico, it's just absurd how many excellent fighters they've produced. And, you know, to be the top fighter in Puerto Rico, it really is a prerequisite. You need to be a great fighter. People think that there's the potential for that in Verdejo. And as you mentioned already, he seems all business in there tonight.
Quick left hook by Verdejo. Roy?
Much more business than he was the last time we saw him. Much more patient and very focused on his opponent, like that.
Verdejo's trainer and manager, Ricky Marquez, who has had him as a fighter since he was 9 years old, was very blunt and straightforward yesterday at our fighter meeting with Verdejo, saying he knows that he has not done the things he is supposed to do, and he knows to truly perform tonight. And part of that, Roy Jones, they don't like his commitment after not focused on the idea that he's a professional star.
Yeah, when you do it, when you turn professional, it becomes more of a business, and sometimes we forget about that country that is depending on us. And I think that may have happened to him slightly because money becomes an object, not necessarily. You have to take them with you as a professional.
And early as Roy was speaking there, you saw a really crisp right hand over the top. Verdejo is indeed getting counterpunching opportunities and using them against Juan Jose Martinez.
Martinez also landed a decent right of his own. But yes, Verdejo's best punch of the fight so far, I think, was that straight right hand.
Juan Jose Martinez from near Mexico City in Mexico against Felix Verdejo, who is listed from San Juan, Puerto Rico. We asked Martinez yesterday who were his boxing idols growing up. Not only he instantly mentioned Marco Antonio Barrera and Juan Manuel Marquez, both of whom are Hall of Fame quality Mexican fighters from Mexico City.
And he's doing near him good things with his. He's trying hard. You can tell he wants to win this fight. He's not here just being an opponent who is expecting to lose to Verdejo. He's trying to win.
Verdejo gets in a quick counter right hand and jab.
And Verdejo looks big for a 135-pounder.
Yes, he does. You were mentioning last round about commitment, Roy. You know, Verdejo may have been caught up in the last year or so since his injury, certainly when you take that time off in the hype and start maybe reading and living the life before he's actually earned it in the ring. Got to have the love and the passion for it, like LeBron James, who came into the sport with so many expectations, so lived up to them. The question for Verdejo is, does he love doing this? Does he love the preparation that goes into this kind of product by him in the ring?
Without a doubt, Max, he loves it. Sometimes at 21, 22 years old, though, you have to have someone to help you stay focused on the prize. You can't get out in front of yourself. You got to realize that, you know, I have a whole country on my back, so I have to perform. So he doesn't have a choice. He has to get ready, stay focused, and pay attention to the goal at hand. If he doesn't, he could lose his whole fan base. So it's highly important to him that he does what he has to do.
Early in the round, he landed an excellent uppercut combination, left uppercut and right uppercut. He shows Roy Jones the potential to have an excellent jab.
No, excellent jab, excellent everything, Jim. He's really an extraordinary young fighter, just that he has to put it all together at one time like he's so far seemingly doing tonight.
And with that long body and the musculature that he already has built, you could certainly see him as a junior welterweight, not too far down the line, and somewhere in the future as a welterweight.
Most definitely.
And when you have the kind of up-and-coming fighters like Errol Spence, like Terrence Crawford, who's already a champion, who like Lomachenko in the divisions below, you want to be at the very top of the sport. It's not enough to be really good. You have to be special. And
well,
Verdejo has shown flashes of that. He's showing some right now.
Yes, he is. Lomachenko's body size doesn't seem like he's going to get that big, though.
I agree. Not sure they will ever meet as
punting punch.
And now as round 3 begins, we'll get our first taste of unofficial scorer Greg Serb stepping in tonight in place of Harold Lederman as Harold goes to Canastota to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Greg, how'd you see the first 2 rounds?
Real easy, Jim. Thanks for the softball fight you just gave me. Verdejo wins both 2018. Is Martinez just steps right to him every time. Verdejo has picked a perfect tonight.
So it's 20-8 on Greg Serb's unofficial scorecard for Felix Verdejo.
Good counterpunch, good, sharp, crisp counterpunches.
It becomes, for these fans here tonight, it will become, as this fight goes on, you have a guy in front of you who's coming to you. He's in front of you. There's no, you're getting off the combinations. You've had 2 less than spectacular outings consecutively. Your fan base is hungry for something spectacular. Can you get your guy out? Going to be the question in their minds as this fight progresses.
Well, it's a good start. He's bleeding already over the right eye. He's already cut the punch output down 3/4. The guy's only throwing basically 25 punches around instead. So he's doing a lot of good things already, and he's busted him up.
Yep, and there's nothing wrong with being a patient fighter, a boxer puncher like Verdejo. Let the knockout try to force it, but you'd like it to come.
It will come if he just continues to do what he's doing.
Somewhere deep in his heart, you hope that he isn't thinking about it now, but he knows that the Puerto Rican boxing fans who are in this arena tonight would say to them, if this opponent, well, Felix Trinidad would knock him out.
Right.
Miguel Cotto would knock him out.
Right.
When is this guy going to knock him out?
Wilfred Benitez was a great fighter, but response to him was not the same as Trinidad, because Trinidad was a destroyer.
Well, Benitez was a defensive fighter.
Yep.
Trinidad was an offensive fighter.
Sure. Jose Martinez has not been knocked out since the second fight of his career in 2010, but every fight since then has taken place against Mexican opponents who we don't know in the Mexico City area. That was a brilliant left hand by Felix Verdejo.
And that's the kind of stuff we want to see, Jim. When a guy commits to him, he makes that guy pay. And that's big. That was a great body shot right there, too, by Verdejo. You were saying earlier, though, Max, for Mexico to be as big as it is and Puerto Rico to be as small as it is, the rivalry these 2 countries have. How in the
best
world
rivalry in boxing
can a country be the biggest rival?
It's unbelievable.
I mean, wow.
There's no more rabid fan base in the world than the Mexican boxing fan base, and yet, and the population is so much greater that Puerto Rico's in the rivalry is remarkable.
Many, maybe 100 low blows and other assorted fouls, and wound up with a split decision win over Lomachenko, though Lomachenko mounted a big comeback and seemed on the verge of knocking Salido out in the 12th. They like each other. You saw them laughing together. Lomachenko couldn't believe the violence that he saw last Saturday night and told us the last thing in the world I would ever want to do is to be in a fight like that.
Too good of a boxer to have to be in a brawling contest.
Well, he might be in a fight with somebody who puts up that much action, but Lomachenko, unless, of course, he stinks the joint out tonight and proves us wrong, generally speaking, he's one of those defenders who can stand within breathing distance of you and you miss all your punches.
If you want to see something special, Lomachenko fighting later tonight is something, Roy, I've never quite seen anything like it before. Not exactly like it.
Not exactly.
Meaning the skill level.
And the way he puts it, a southpaw who can fight going forward, backward, side to side, hand speed, athletic ability, boxing ability, the amateur pedigree.
Defense, the professional pedigree, all the good things that a great boxer can do, Lomachenko can do. And that's why I said that he was high on the top of my pound-for-pound list a long time ago.
Game recognized game.
Yep.
Meanwhile, we watch continuing fourth-round action between Felix Verdejo of Puerto Rico, and you see the traditional Puerto Rican flag on his red, white, and blue trunks, and Juan Jose Martinez of Mexico, who is working hard to try to make it a fight, but generally being clocked by counterpunches from Verdejo.
Yeah, he's making Verdejo perform, and he's giving Verdejo exactly what he wants. He's right there in front of Verdejo. Verdejo has to counterpunch to slow him down and to keep his output low.
And we mentioned that Juan Jose Martinez told us in the fighter meeting that he would slow his pace tonight and try to avoid being that 100 punch per round fighter who would offer so many counterpunching opportunities to Verdejo. He thought that he could maybe change it up and shock Verdejo by fighting in a more controlled fashion. So in his last 5 fights, Martinez averaged 97 punches thrown per round. Tonight in the first 3 rounds, he averaged 27 punches thrown per round. So he's leaving 70 punches per round back home in the storage bag in Mexico.
Not a bad idea.
Verdejo, about a minute ago, landed 2 bass drum kind of body shots. You know, thud, thud. And he'd be wise, I think, to do that a little.
Sometimes, Roy Jones, you get to throw body punches, and he threw them there. 2 solid body shots by Verdejo. But if your opponent is easy to hit upstairs, you can forget.
Sometimes.
Round 5 of the scheduled 10. Felix Verdejo of Puerto Rico cruising so far, winning every round on our unofficial scorer Greg Serb's scorecard tonight.
What I think he has to do, Jim, which we spoke about a little bit in the fighter meeting, was that, like, at times like this, when the fight seems to be a little boring and you can't quite get the guy out, you have to try to have a little fun. You can't be so serious all the time in boxing. He has enough talent to where he can do things to make this guy wonder, well, what the heck is going on now? You know, you take away from his confidence, you set him up, you make him relax, then you catch him with one of those bombs like he just hit him with, but he doesn't take it as well because he's not expecting it. So he has to make this game a little bit more fun than it is business for him inside the ring.
Well, I've got some fun for him because there's blood outside the right eye of Juan Jose Martinez. And an excellent choice for Verdejo would be to have some fun by trying to draw more blood from the cut, which is at the corner of Martinez's eye.
Like
There's a left hook that'll do exactly that.
Like that.
Lightning left hook. Really good jab. I think there's no question Verdejo is way more engaged and way more intense tonight than in the previous fights in which we had seen him.
In the previous fights, he's really focused tonight.
And part of that is who you have in front of you. A fighter at this level, you have a guy who's going to come at him, and he's basically a counterpuncher. It's going to bring out the best in him. And if you put him in with an opponent who he has to go seek out, he's not going to look as good.
You're exactly right, Max.
CompuBox numbers to this point in the fight, Verdejo has exactly doubled the number of landed punches for Juan Jose Martinez. Martinez has landed 36, and if you can do the math, you know that that means Verdejo's landed 72 so far here in the 5th round.
I think that's really interesting, Roy, about having fun. You mean it's almost as though, the way I take it, he falls into a routine and he needs to kind of snap himself out of it and come at it from a new angle somehow.
Every now and then you got to try something different. You got to change it up a little bit because the guy gets so used to taking him from the same spot that he takes him better because he's used to him. So you have to get him a little something different to get him all set like that.
Great right hand. Hurt Martinez, left hook caught in 2. Looking to land something else solid. A body shot here would be helpful.
Very helpful.
Doesn't throw the body shot, keeps head hunting. Referee Michael Ortega watching closely. And
seen him last time. He seen him throw this jab, throw a double jab, good jab he had been letting all night, but he decided now, let me follow with a right hand. That right hand hurt him really bad. Best right hand of the night. Came off of that jab, which was a long jab, 2 long jabs as a matter of fact, and that did the damage. Once that happened, he went on the attack. He tried to go to the body, back to the head, and the guy's a very smart guy, don't get it wrong. Juan Ramirez had some good defense over there in that corner. He really didn't give up many clean shots, and that's why he wasn't happy when the ref stopped it. But it was a great stoppage, I think.
Good stoppage by Michael Ortega in the view of Royce Verdejo celebrates up on the ring ropes. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the particulars on Verdejo.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Madison Square Garden, the official time, 2 minutes, 40 seconds. The referee, Michael Ortega, has to step in and call this to a halt. The winner, TKO victory, still the undefeated WBO lightweight champion, El Invicto Felix Verdejo.
Here's the smile.